Hey everybody, welcome to the Augmented Reality podcast presented by the Triple S League. My name is Asheninity and I'm here as always with Cybsidian.
Hello, hello, hello. You know what's great during the summer heat? Lemonade. Lemonade and iced tea.
Yep.
If neither of these things had been invented, I'm pretty sure I'd be dead right now.
Dying of thirst.
Well, yes, dying of thirst. And my goodness, today alone, I drank about 4 liters of liquid today, mostly water and a lot of iced tea and a little bit of lemonade. But
I drank.
Yeah, it's hot again for some reason. It's like it gets warm during the summer. It's such a bizarre thing.
It's crazy. But you know how I know I am hopelessly addicted to caffeine is it'll be blazingly hot outside and I will still need a mug of coffee. And I'll
the piping hot glass of coffee.
I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, holy crap, it's hot. And my wife's looking at me like, yeah, you're drinking coffee? You realize this? You're drinking a hot beverage in the middle of summer?
You know they have iced coffee drinks now, right? You realize this
Yeah, but you know what?
Right?
I go out and I get one of those, and it's like 80% ice and like 20% coffee. And so
this is true. This is true. Major issue with that, for
plus
sure.
You have to go out. You have to get up and leave your house, go out into the fresh air and the sunshine and all that disgusting stuff, and go somewhere to get it, unless you have a way of making it at home, which I don't. Although you can get the prepackaged ones, but
you don't have a blender and a refrigerator or a freezer.
You
can just make normal coffee at home and then freeze it. Like that's a thing.
Don't confuse me with your culinary expertise.
Anyways,
By the way, our podcast today brought to you by MMOGamerStore.com. Check out MMOGamerStore.com for plenty of alpha and beta keys that are difficult to acquire anywhere else. By the way, sorry that there was no podcast last week. Just with our schedule with conventions and things, it just got too much. And
plus the fact that I am working ridiculous hours right now. So there was
a lot of distractions last week. I mean, the Defenders came out.
Yep.
I'm loving that. Have you started checking that out?
I have not started on it yet. I'll probably start on it tomorrow or the next day. But I'm looking forward to that. There's been a bunch of stuff come out. I've barely been keeping up with Game of Thrones, but I have to because people like to spoil the crap out of everything. Even IMBD likes to spoil the crap out of that show. And then IGN likes to spoil it by announcing that somebody else spoiled something. It's like, stop spoiling it. Stop it. Just know. If you feel that you need to talk about a big spoiler, probably preference that with a spoiler first.
I can spoil every episode of that show for you. Your favorite character dies. That's not an actual, okay, just FYI. That's not an actual spoiler of anything. I'm just using that. That's a generic. I'm not saying anybody dies in this past episode or anything like that. I honestly have no idea. But just to clarify, that's not, it was just a joke, not an actual spoiler.
He doesn't know how right he is. Oh my goodness. Anyways, moving on from that.
Actually, another thing though, that from last week, this just came out of nowhere. Just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a new Strong Bad email.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I mean, not like a special one or anything like that. Like the guys that make that cartoon, they've been putting out special holiday cartoons every now and then. They haven't been regularly updating the site in years now, but they've been putting out a cartoon here and there a couple times a year. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, there's a new Strong Bad email. Like it ain't no thing, son.
Just a random video.
And it's just
I love it.
The same as it always was. It's like the same humor, the same animation. Everything is just... everything's fine. The voices don't sound funny because he hasn't done the voices in a while or anything like that. It's like they made it years ago and it got lost in the vortex and just all of a sudden, appeared on the internet. It's really weird. It was really weird, but awesome. Weird in an awesome way. So, is this a hint that Homestar Runner's coming back? I don't know. That would be awesome.
Huh. Well, I mean, I hope so, but I hope they do it right because nothing sucks worse than when you try and relaunch a show that everybody's been, complaining that it got taken down too early for, and then nobody watches the show once it comes back. Arrested Development and Futurama, for examples.
Hey, I watched the crap out of the new Futuramas. I am so disappointed that it's gone again.
It just it came out at a time that I didn't have the time to keep watching it. And this is a big important thing especially for, I think, our listeners. I'm sure one or more of them will end up being the heads of giant corporations in the future. And I have to say that you really need to learn from this. If you cancel a show too early, you do risk ruining something that could have grown into something massive. Like you look at like Archer, and you look at The Simpsons and Family Guy, and it's like once they get going, they have a tendency to just stay going for like ever almost, and it's really easy to continually pump out content. I believe quite strongly that if Futurama hadn't gotten canceled or delayed the first time, that it would still be going on today, and it would have a really, really big audience. But I guess we got.
That's a lot of years, though. That is a long time. That is. But I mean, look at Simpsons and Family Guy. It's they pump those things out regularly now. And Bob's Burgers is pretty good. Archer, like I said, is still picking up steam. We've got another season of that coming for sure. Then we have, of course, Rick and Morty now. A show I really feel like that happened to was Clone High. That show was hilarious.
Clone High got assassinated big time by just a lot of little things at once, and then it never got going again.
There's a small part of me that dares to hope that someone will buy that IP and that all of the voice actors will be ready and available. That was my introduction to Will Forte. He is freaking hilarious. It's too bad he gets a lot of crap parts, but he is so funny. And as Abe Lincoln, he was just, I thought his voice work was phenomenal, and I was like, who is this guy? It's fantastic. I mean, it's probably a little late to be holding out hope that show could ever go anywhere, but you never know. The world of animation, anything's possible. Because that was years ago. It was like, 15 years ago that had one season and ended on a major cliffhanger.
Yeah, huge cliffhanger, and everybody's sitting around going, wait, what?
That's the one glorious thing, is because at the end of the first season, it's probably been around long enough that it's a bit of a spoiler is okay. In the last episode, literally every character in the show gets frozen solid. So they could come back and thaw everybody out and have it pick up like nothing had happened.
Yeah, for the most part.
This is, I don't know, wishful thinking, probably. Anyway, Gamescom happening this week. Gamescom. There must be a... Why is it Gamescom and not Gamescon?
I don't know. I've never looked into it. I've always just, felt that it's kind of weird and bizarre, but whatever.
It's over in Europe, so, that's probably has something to do with it. So way over there. So Gamescom happening this week. We had the Xbox showcase just a couple days actually before Gamescom started. Not much new came out of that one. There was new trailers for games we'd already seen, and I have to say the Assassin's Creed Origins trailer. Oh my goodness, looks so amazing. Just the setting. I've never really been into the Assassin's Creed franchise, but just the setting in ancient Egypt, and they were panning over the rivers and stuff with the hippos and everything. I'm like, I want to be there. I've always been fascinated with ancient Egypt. The audience and the player base really drove this one. They have been demanding this setting for ages and ages. And it's obviously it's a gimme too, because it's like they can really run with it quite a bit. Yeah, exactly. Who can resist that mysteria, that appeal, that just mystical appeal of ancient Egypt is just something about it. But yeah, not much new. I mean, we saw, like I said, a lot of trailers for games we'd already seen. The one new game that I had not seen before was Jurassic World Evolution. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that one? Yeah, I watched that, and I'm like, so the premise is like build your own Jurassic Park and have T-Rexes and all kinds of dinosaurs running around and doing stuff. But the thing is that the dinosaurs can escape and then cause carnage and eat people. And I bet you that the most common trope right away on this game is going to be how to create the biggest disaster with the most death, with the highest death toll you can possibly do. And this will become the major featurette of this series. Well, yeah, you've played SimCity. I mean, you thought kids were sadistic playing SimCity, sending monsters and tornadoes and aliens on their cities just for the black and white.
let's take this little human person and throw them up a mountain or out into the ocean, see if they can swim. It's like
Roller Coaster Tycoon. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, people making the unfinished coasters and sending people, just flying into the ocean or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be a carnage fest, I'm sure. They have a T-Rex eating a park worker in the trailer.
Park worker right away. It said it's like this is a feature, and I swear people are going to make this is going to be the biggest thing, and it's going to be like, how can we make a catastrophic failure of this park and have it end in the most like brutal, sadistic way possible. So really, getting back to Gamescom now, one of the biggest things that hit me this year watching the Gamescom, and it's still going on. We're recording this all on Wednesday, so we've got there's a few more things that are going to come out. I'm sure PlayStation's got some big announcement that they're going to do. They kind of asked for it. They had this like red velvet thing over top of something, and they're like, "We're going to tease something really big at Gamescom," and a bunch of comments on it was like, "You're teasing. You're going to showcase the tombstone for Metal Gear Solid."
Yeah.
And Young Yaya, who was commenting on he made a video of him reacting to this comment, and he started laughing, then he started crying, then he started bawling. It was really, really funny. But yeah, this year I feel Gamescom, goodness sakes. This year at Gamescom, I feel that the PC has made a resurgence, and we're starting to see not there's nothing major. It's a handful of little things, like Final Fantasy 15 is coming to the PC, they had a funny story, which we'll come back to in just a second. But then there's the Xbox saying that most of their games are also going to be on Windows. And that they're going to have lots of exclusives that are on just Xbox and the PC. And to be fair, I mean, most, like a huge majority of computers do run, the Windows for gaming, and they have been kind of going back to making gaming a little bit more of a core part of the Windows system. So that's good. I applaud that. I do not want to see them try to create a monopoly or control it like they had suggested that they were going to do. Let's never see that again. But I feel that this is the cracks in the consoles are really starting to show right now. So you have the consoles trying harder and harder to keep up with newer and newer tech. And it's becoming harder and harder, and development cycles are becoming shorter and shorter. And because of that, you have shorter and shorter development cycles for actual developers. Developers spend, 5-6 years working on a game, and then they release it, and it's already technically like, a generation behind what's the top technology that people are expecting. Something came out, I believe it was Destiny 2 came out for the Xbox, the new Xbox that they've announced. And it's the frame rate for Destiny 2 is going to be capped. It's like, well, hold on here. Like, why is it getting capped why can't you get 60 frames per second on the console? Like, aren't we past this? And console users are sitting there going, we told you guys this was going to happen. Welcome to 2017. That's been going on for like the past, 7 years. So I'm starting to feel that more and more cracks are developing in the consoles. PlayStation has been kind of a little lackluster. I mean, Xbox has been really lackluster. There's tons of amazing games that have been announced. Very few of them are exclusive to the consoles, and more of them are also coming to PC. And this is good because honestly, I think, it's about time. I think it was bad that a lot of games were not coming out to the PC, especially those on the PlayStation, because again, it's like they're not releasing on to the PC just because they want to, try and hold down a monopoly on consoles. But they're now realizing that they're losing more money than they're making, I feel.
And we talked about that previously 2-3 weeks ago. About the future of consoles. So if you're interested in that, you check out that podcast we did. We talked a lot about it and the change in the development cycle of consoles and things like that, and why we think that they're gonna. if not go away, they're going to have to change significantly to survive in the modern gaming market.
Yeah, so anyways, going back to the Final Fantasy 15, so they made a communications mistake led to the wrong system specs being sent out. They had said that Final Fantasy 15 would require 170 gigabytes to install.
Wow.
And everybody was like, 170 gigabytes? Are you insane? And apparently somebody was, because that's not actually what it's going to need. The fact that it became that number is a communication error, they said. So
160 gigabytes. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, that would be ooh.
That's like even your long distance, mip-maps or 16K graphics or something. Like that's massive.
Well, I know 4K and like 8K and 12K, like those things are just going to ratchet that up a significantly large amount more. So yeah, but at any rate, on top of that, we also had another kind of weird, funny gaffe. It was just something that I found kind of interesting in that Blizzard had been like, saying, "Oh, we're going to Gamescom," and people were expecting a pretty big like reveal, except the reveal was basically nothing. It was a video short for Overwatch, which was entertaining. I'll give it that. But then they talked about World of Warcraft's not an expansion, just a patch update with a mission that'll last a few weeks, kind of an event that'll last a few weeks. It's like I don't know of any company that's got more money and that is bigger than Blizzard who does like the bare minimum of new content. They came out with Overwatch. That was their first new IP in, not their first new game, but the first new IP in like, what, 20 years almost?
Close, yeah.
Like, come on, come out with something. Like, they've had a lot of really great ideas. They've had a lot of really good concepts. And sometimes I feel that I not that I'm a fan of games that come out too early or unfinished, but I feel that there's a lot of games that Blizzard was close to releasing or, was sitting on for a really long time that they just said, nah, because it wasn't a royal flush. It wasn't the best game that would win Game of the Year. And now they're more recent titles, like you've got Heroes of the Storm and you've got Overwatch, and they have some pretty significant declining player bases. Now, that might be a seasonal thing, sure. Might just be a summer thing. But I kind of feel that they're squandering their ability to make content and to make new games and to, at least work with like something, for crying out loud. Like, it seems like they're just sitting back and basically just kind of counting their money as it rolls in, and they're still making so much money from World of Warcraft, and as far as I can tell, they're not really doing very much with it other than just maintaining it. So I was honestly thinking that they were going to tease a new IP, or that they were going to tease like some big new game that they were going to do, but instead they're like, hey, we got the StarCraft remastered, and I honestly couldn't tell the difference between the graphics. I'm like it looks mildly better. That would have been nice to have like a decade ago or more. Like, I know they don't want to mess with the core game, but at the same time, it's like they seem to be doing the bare minimum of just to keep people interested. They used to be a company that pushed boundaries, and now I feel that they've been on cruise control for like well over a decade, making a lot of money. Gotta say that they've been making an absolute crap ton of money for many, many years, and Overwatch definitely helped. And it's good. Like, the cosplay is amazing. The character development is really good. But the fact that it's just, an arena is, I feel that they could do more with it. So
yeah, fair enough. So we're keeping, because we have to record this while Gamescom is still going on, we're keeping an eye on it to see if CD Projekt Red drops anything about a little upcoming game called Cyberpunk 2077. I know we've been teasing our Cyberpunk 2077 leaks info for many weeks now. I promise that it is coming soon.
Probably next week.
Yeah, we just...
It's just the fact that Gamescom is going on right now, and
that would have been that would have been this week's topic if Gamescom weren't happening right now, and if CD Projekt Red weren't there. I mean, they're doing a whole bunch of Gwent stuff. That seems to be their focus there this time around. But if something super exciting happens after we've recorded this, I mean, we will jump on it and make a video about it. But
sure thing.
Other than that, our leaks and other behind-the-scenes info that we've had that Cybe's been sitting on for some time now. Look for that very soon, probably next week.
One last game that has come out at Gamescom that has a little something to do with Cyberpunk is a game called Ruiner.
Oh yeah, Ruiner. Yeah.
Runer. This is a Cyberpunk-themed game. Not Cyberpunk 2077, just Cyberpunk in general.
The Cyberpunk, the genre.
It's a shooter genre, like top-down isometric shooter genre. It looks really good. It's been on my radar a little bit. I didn't expect them to make a big announcement here at Gamescom, but it looks really solid. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and it looks like this is the first of honestly quite a few Cyberpunk games that are going to be hoping to kind of jump on the hype train that for that kind of a genre that Cyberpunk 2077 will create. So, it's good to see what looks like to be a really well-made isometric shooter. Not everybody's cup of tea, but
it's being published by Devolver Digital, which is a fairly well-known publisher of indie titles. They've had some pretty good ones. Broforce, The Talos Principle, Enter the Gungeon, Genital Jousting. Really? They did that? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so they publish a mosaic of products. Let's put it that way. But most of the games I've played from Devolver have been really good. So,
like I said, I'm really excited for this because it shows an upward trend towards kind of cyberpunk stuff. And
Cyberpunk is a good genre.
It's been one of my favorite genres for a long time.
It's difficult to find a good cyberpunk game.
Mm-hmm. But I think we're going to be getting so much. I think we're going to be getting a ton, and as long as they're along the same quality lines of The Witcher and what looks like this Ruiner might be really, really good. I think this will be really good. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping to see some great content for it coming out. So
right on. Yep. So we'll be keeping our eye on that one. And on that note, I think that is all for this week. So thank you so much for listening to the Augmented Reality Podcast presented by the SSS League. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, comedy, music videos, all kinds of things. We're working on all kinds of stuff all the time. And check out our sponsor, MMOGamerStore.com, for those hard-to-get alpha and beta game keys. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you later.
See ya!
Thanks for listening to Augmented Reality, presented by the SSS League. If you appreciate this weekly content, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Patrons get exclusive access to podcast outtake videos, downloadable music, an RSS feed of our podcast, and more. See patreon.com/the SSS League for details. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.